Hey guys, got another video for you guys. So, a lot of people use a lot of different firewalls, and Pfsense is really well known. I've run it before, and there's been a couple questions on the forums there on Reddit saying, can you run Pfsense without two network cards? And yes, you can. It's pretty easy actually. You need a computer with one network card, preferably Intel, but you could use others. I find Intel network cards are the best because they have really good support and the drivers are very good for them, and a managed switch. So in this video, I have a HP ProDesk G3, just a little i5 6500 with 8 gigs of RAM and a hard drive in it, and a HP 1810 24 port gigabit switch. So to make this work, you have to set up VLANs and assign them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you in the video here how to do that on an HP switch. It's really easy. A lot of people get scared of doing VLANs, and I used to be scared when I started doing them, and now it's like they're just pretty easy. After that, we'll hook up Pfsense. I've got a default install on this box of 2.5.2, I think, or 2.5. I can't remember. We'll look at it in the video, and we'll show how to do that. So for now, what I'm going to do is, in the video here, I'll get my screen recording here. I will assign my computer to a network address. Now the default IP on this switch is 192.168.2.10. So we'll go ahead and do that. TCP4, we'll give it to 192.168.2.50. We'll give it a subnet or DNS just for now, so that way I don't have to come back and change it after. We'll see if we can ping it. Yep, there it is. There's no password on a default HP switch, so we'll just go 192.168.2.10, and there it is. So no password. For this lab, I'll say right now, there will be no rules in Pfsense, and there will be no special setups. It's just going to be a plain Pfsense working. Since I have a basic lab behind, or basic network behind me, I'm going to double NAT this, but for the purpose of this video is just this Ethernet cable that's coming from over there will be my WAN address, and it will work in the port. So on this, I'm going to set up a couple VLANs on the switch first, and then we'll go from there. So port 24 is going to be the port that goes to the Pfsense build, the HP, and 23 is going to be my network port in. We're going to call that the WAN port. So in the video here, we'll go to VLANs, and we're going to create VLANs. So the first one I'm going to create, the first one that comes with the switch is port or VLAN 1. That's a default out of almost all switches. The second one I'm going to call is 99. I'm going to call it 99, and I'm going to use that for the WAN port. So we'll push apply. So now we have 99 and 1, but I'm also going to create 2 more just for later, because in the video I'm going to show you how to make more VLANs in Pfsense for like IoT and your camera networks and stuff like that. So I wrote it down here. So we're going to create 44, apply. And then we're going to create 66, and then apply. That's done. Now we have to do the tagging, which is very easy. I used to be scared of doing VLANs on switches and stuff like that. It took me forever. And I mean, Cisco, Aruba, HP, MikroTik, I got a Edge switch over here, Unify. They all have some different way of tagging and untagging and stuff like that. But they're all pretty common. So in here, we're going to call this anticipating. Right now I have the computer plugged into port 11, and you can see that because it's green right here, right? And then we have the computer, it's sleeping right now. It's not even on, but it knows there's something there because it's got wake on LAN and all that stuff enabled, and there's some network activity. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to VLAN 99. And I said in there, we're going to call VLAN 99 23 and 24. So tagged port 24 and then untagged port will go 23. That will be the port that's going to have the traffic coming into it, and then that'll work, right? Then we'll apply that. And then for simplicity, for me to keep track of the video, we're going to go like this, and we're going to go to port 44. We're going to tag that, so that's going to be the traffic coming on 24 from the Pfsense box. And then I'm going to go to port 4, so that way I can keep track of that. We're going to untag that, so all the traffic that goes throughout that will give it the IP address of that. And then we'll go apply. And we'll go through the list. And then let's go 66. We'll do the same thing. So we'll go 24. Oops. Tag. And then we'll go to port 6. And we'll untag that. So all the traffic goes through that. E is exclude. So anything that's got an E in it, it will exclude any traffic and won't do anything with it. So we'll go apply. And then we'll go OK. Now the default port 1 is all untagged. And 23 is exclude because it already did that because it's already in the group. And then we'll apply it. So the next part of the video, I'll set up here and go through this. If we plug in something and I set up the VLANs on the Pfsense, anything that is 1, 2, 3, 5, and the rest, except for 23 and 24, will give me an IP address from the Pfsense for the first VLAN, for VLAN 1, so 192.168.2.1. If we go to port 4 on this, which is untagged, but the 24th port is tagged, it will give us the subnet. And I'm going to set it up to 192.168.44.1. And for 66, for my small brain, we'll go 66, 192.168.66.1, and then we'll give a subnet on there. So for now, okay, so the next part of the configuration is setting up VLANs on Pfsense so it can communicate. So we have a fresh install of Pfsense. We've set up the switch over here to accept all the VLANs and tagging and where the traffic is supposed to go. Now we just have to set up the interface on Pfsense. So when we come to the stage, we've only got one network card down here. If there was two, we would get a different menu. But since we've only got one, it's asking us, should VLANs be set up now, yes or no? We want to click yes. Enter the parent interface. So it's saying it sees one interface. Here's our MAC address, and here's the name of the network card, which is RE0. So we want to type in RE0. We want to push enter. Enter the VLAN number we want to set up. So remember, we set up a whole bunch of them, but we're only going to set up 2 at this time. So we're going to set up 1, enter, and then it's asking, do you want to set up another one? So we want to go RE0 again, enter, and then the VLAN we want to set up is 99, and then we want to push enter. Enter the parent name, so we are now done. So we have our 2 interfaces, so we have the WAN and the LAN. We're going to push enter. Now it says, which one on here would you like to use for the WAN? So we already said we're going to use 99. So we see down here RE0.99. So we type in RE0.99. Enter. Enter the LAN interface name you would like to use. So we want to use RE0. So it says right here, RE0. RE0.1 for VLAN. So the point, anything after the decimal is the VLAN tag number. Okay, we push enter, and then we're done. So now we just have to push enter again. Do you want to proceed? Yes. Enter. Once this goes through the changing the interface and applying all the interface addresses and stuff like that, we will see an address. Oh, there it is right there. It shows us right here. But we'll wait for the next interface. Now, for this lab, I'm just using one of my, over here, I'll point at the switch down here. So this is we're going to pretend this is your modem IP address from your modem that you get when you set up your home network, and use this for your WAN address. But for my for my lab, we're just going to use this cable here. What I would do when you set this up on your home interface and your home connection is put a label here, so that way you know that this is for only one thing. The rest of it you could use for whatever you want. Okay? So, we're now back. Now the address down here says our WAN address is one of my addresses in my subnet here, so 172.168.168.153, and our LAN address is 192.168.1.1. Okay, so we have that all set. So now what we could do is jump to the laptop and continue on configuring. And before I go too far, I'll just do a little bit of information down here and point out what we have set up. So we have our switch. We have the laptop plugged into this one right here. We have our WAN address plugged into port 23, and 24 is our tagged port for all our traffic to go across with Pfsense. Pretty simple. We'll see that we've got a full connection, and now what we can do is we can go to 192.168.1.1, and we're at the Pfsense. Now remember, our switch is at 192.168.2.10, but we're on a 1 DAT address. So we're going to walk through the wizard here, and then we'll change our subnet, and then we'll go from there. So admin, our default password is Pfsense, and it's now going to walk us through the wizard. So welcome to Pfsense. We'll go next. We'll call this lab. Primary servers, we'll go 888. Secondaries, we'll do 1-1. And we'll call this, Pfsense. And then we'll call this lab. Simple, Jason's lab. CA. Okay, and we'll go next. No thanks. We're in Canada, so let's change this to Pacific. Okay. DHCP for the WAN interface. Yes, we're going to use DHCP. I don't know if your ISP uses static or DHCP. This is where you would change this right here. And so right here, now it's asking us to configure the LAN interface. So let's change this to 2.1, and we'll go next. Admin password, and then we'll go next. And reload. Usually what I do is give it about 30 seconds or so, then we unplug the cable. Wait 2 seconds. We'll plug it back in. We'll run CMD. See if we get a new IP address. Nope, not yet. But let's change the address up here. Oh, we got network connection down here. Oh, we had it. But now we'll just change this back to 2.1. There we go. We're back to Pfsense, so we'll log back in. Admin. There we go. So now we have the URL to accept, and we're now configured and working. So as you can see, we have one network port on a Pfsense box, and it's working. So now let's just check something here. So it shows we have a network connection down here, and if we go to fast.com, what do we get? Now, don't forget, we're double natting right now, so it's going to be a little bit slower. .600 megabits per sec. 630, we're going to go up a little higher. 630 megabits. Now, if I do the show more information, we'll see more. We'll see the upload better than the download because we're double natting, so we're having some issues there. So that's pretty good off of one network card. So the next thing I want to show you guys is to add more VLANs. Now if we go back to our switch, 192.168.2.10, we'll log in with our no password. And we have VLANs configuration. We have 4 VLANs. Technically, we only have 3 VLANs because the 99 you don't want to touch anymore because that's going to be your, you only have 2 ports tagged for that, which is your in and out and for your Pfsense. And so now we want to create 2 more VLANs for the network. Say you want to have like an IoT network for like all your gadgets around the house, highly recommended, and then another camera network, so another highly recommended for a setup for your house. So what we want to do now is we've already tagged these 2 ports on this switch, so they're ready to go, but we haven't done anything in Pfsense. So technically, all we have to do is go interfaces, assignments, and we have to create them in here. First, we have to go VLANs, and we want to create, say, VLAN, so we want to create 44. Description, we're going to call that 44, what should we call it? IoT? Sure. And then we're going to create another one. VLAN tag 66, and we'll call that cameras. Okay. Now we have that done. Now what we have to do is go back to interfaces and assignments, and we have to sign those. So what we want to do is we want to select available port, and now we'll see VLAN 44 and VLAN 66. So 44, we'll go add, and then we'll go down here again. We'll go 66, and then we'll go add, and then we'll save that. Now we have all of our network interfaces. So now if we click on option 1, we can rename this. So 44 is the IoT, so we'll enable it, and we'll call this IoT. We'll give it an address. We have to go to static. IPv4 address, we'll give it 192.168.44.1. We'll give it a 24 address, and we'll go save. We'll apply the changes. Settings already applied because I pushed save at the bottom. So now we'll go back to interfaces, assignments. See, we've changed the name over here to IoT, so we have that. Let's do the same thing. So we'll go enable. We'll call this cameras. Cameras. We'll go static. So the static address is what we're giving to this card, 192.168.66.1. We make sure we give it a 24 subnet, depending on your configuration. We'll go save, apply. Give it a couple seconds. Done. We still got more setups to do. Now we got to create a DHCP scope. So we go to services, DHCP server. Now over here we have these 2 other DHCP servers. So we go IoT. We want to enable that. So I usually just make them small. So my IoT stuff, I only give them like maybe 10 or 15, depending on how many devices you have. It's not really good practice to leave it wide open. There's just no point. So put in mind how many. You can change this at any time also you want. So you can start from 5 and go all the way up. So let's give this 192.168.44. So let's go 40 to, because I'm lazy today, copy this to here, and we'll go to 80. Okay. DNS servers, we'll give it 1.1.1.1. And this is going to hand the DHCP or the DNS servers out, so 8.8.8.8. And then we'll go like this and go save. Okay, now we'll do the same thing for cameras. So we want to enable the service. Let's go 192.168.66.say100. Copy this, and then we'll Control C, not V. And say we'll give it like 120. We'll give it 20 addresses. We'll allow, and we'll give the same DNS 1.1.8.8.8. Then we'll save it. Now, this part of the video, we have to create rules now. So we have our DHCP, and we have our IoT, and we have our VLANs and all that stuff. Now, what we have to do is make a rule, because technically all we're going to get is an address, but we can't do anything. So, this is the part of the video where I say there is no security in this. You'll have to play with your own security and create rules to go and jump across VLANs and all that kind of stuff. But for this sake, all I'm going to do is create the rule so we can get an address and go out and surf the internet and show you an IP address. Okay? So, we'll go to Firewall, Rules, and at the top here, we'll see that we have a bunch of rules. So LAN has already got a rule because it's already surfing the internet. IoT will create a new rule, so we'll go add. Pass, TCP, any, and we'll give it any. So this will give us our, what are we in here? This is IoT, so this is IoT any rule. It's always good to label stuff so that we know what you're doing, so when you go to change stuff, if you have lots of rules, you can go, what do they call that again? So you can find it. So we'll do that. We'll apply it. Okay, so that one's done. Let's do cameras. We'll do the exact same thing because there's going to be no security on this right now. Later on, I'll do some more videos how to lock stuff down. IoT stuff, you basically want that stuff to go out to the internet and not do any snooping. For this sake, we're just getting it to work. So we'll go any. It's going to have any. We're going to call this cameras any rule. Okay? Save. Done. Now, since we've got all that done, we should be able to take this Ethernet cable that I have here from the laptop and plug it into 4. Okay, so let's minimize this. If we go to 4, which is down here, technically we should have a network connection and it should route. So we'll go CMD and we'll go ipconfig. We'll scroll up. There's our address. Remember, we started the scope to start at 40, so we got the first address in the scope. Can we surf the internet? Let's see. We sure can. Let's try the other one. What did we do? We did number 6. Let me just verify that. 6, because it's probably for my little pea brain to remember. Oh, can't get into the switch because I have that locked down. So let's play number 6. So if we plug in a 6, we should get a 192.168.66 address. Let's close the browser. We'll wait a couple seconds because down here it will show that we have a network. There we go. So let's go ipconfig. What do we have now? 66. See, creating VLANs and doing it with one network card doesn't really require much. And if we go back to port 1, I'll put that back there and we'll go back to our Pfsense here. 192.2.1. We'll log back in. I have a really powerful box. Actually, I don't know if it's, I would say it's really powerful. There's probably way more powerful boxes out there than what I'm using. But this little i5 will handle everything. As you can see right here, we got an i5 6500, 3.2 gigahertz. It's got 4 CPUs, 4 cores, and it's got AES and NI crypto. You could pick these up, on eBay for like $50 or $30. Or if you're like me and scrounge almost everything possibly out of the garbage can to take home and play with it. That's why I have stuff right now to play with in lab, because I always tell the boss, hey, can I have this? Why? Because I want to take it home and I'm going to use it for lab stuff to do exam demos and stuff. This is what I'm doing, right? In this box before was, with my luck, I didn't put the network card back on my desk. It was sitting right here. Put it somewhere else. But anyways, I had this box running Pfsense before, and it had dual network cards in it, and I had a really good setup. It was pretty good. I've moved around so many firewalls, I can't even keep up. So, this shows everything, how to use a managed switch, a simple box. Some guys can get those little, there's a forum on there, people were buying that. I think they're called Lenovo Tinies, or the M93s. The little tiny boxes. That would be perfect for this. Low power, plenty of power to push the traffic and stuff like that. As you get more and more rules on here, things might slow down. Haven't experimented with that, but that could be another video for later on. For now, this is what I have. If you have any questions, let me know. if you have any recommendations for videos or stuff you want me to show you in Pfsense, stuff that's probably been done by Tom Lawrence a million times, or Network Chuck, who's an awesome guy. There's lots of guys that do a lot of Pfsense box. I'm going to be focusing mostly on untangle stuff because that's what I really, really like, and that's what I'm running currently at home in my network here because I really like it. I'm really good at it. I could walk through it. I've been using it since 2010, and I always go back to it. I've had lots of virals. So anyways, hopefully this video helps you guys out. Like and subscribe, all that kind of jazz that people do, and if you have any questions, shoot me an email. I'll put a link to my email address on the page when I edit the video to jason@jasonslab.ca, and we'll go from there. You guys have a good day. I'm going to finish up this video, do some video editing, and release it for you guys. See you guys later.